everyone needs to go to their CapCut profile and turn off that outro, because so many videos will have that. I'm like, guys, turn it off.
Like, how is the brand supposed to trust you with the content you created if you haven't even watched it yourself?
We should encourage brands to do this more, and then try it in their ads for sure.
Sometimes it takes me way longer to create a 15-second video than a 30-second video. I don't know if you feel like that, Ali, ever. Because it's like the amount of time that you need to put all your footage in, try to get that voiceover to the time, and then to choose the right key scenes to then be able to like portray the whole idea in those 15 seconds.
Unless it's an aesthetic style video, like if it's an ad-based video, tougher. Aesthetic, it's the easiest of all, because it is like you're slow, you're nice, you're like, oh, I'll drink my coffee and have 5 seconds of that on the time. Like, whereas usually like, no, cut it.
Yeah.
I think though, girls, this brings us nicely onto today's topic of the different video types that we have out there. So, Maria, what's all the different actual types that we have within the clip?
So we have four types at the moment. We have up to the creator, we have testimonial, unboxing, and how to. I'll just give you my point of view when we created the platform and how we envisioned all these types of videos. Up to the creator one, this is pretty much like, and this is what I usually tell in my demo calls, you would just give 100% control to the creator to come up with their own style, with their own ideas. So it's not going to be just a testimonial or just an unboxing, or it might have elements of each. It can be without the voiceover. It can be just aesthetic. It can be a ASMR. So basically, it's just the creator's choice on the vision.
So Maria, tricky question here, because I know from the creator's perspective, the biggest issue with Up to the Creator is the voiceover, right? So you just mentioned that technically, by definition, it's literally like anything, however the creator wants to approach this, right? I think that sometimes brands believe that creators not doing voiceovers is them being lazy. And honestly, I feel like that's the kind of general idea.
I won't lie. Maybe I was gonna say, sorry, I won't lie. I kind of agree with brands. Like if it's not in the brief, I personally think it would be.
So this is what I mean. So I just wanted to like clarify, to have this out there. So when we give feedback as well, it feels fair to the creators, but also brands know where they stand as well. I know from my perspective that sometimes I just don't believe that the voiceover works with the video that is needed, right? Yep. So especially when we just talked about like aesthetic videos, it's kind of pointless and it could take away from the video big time, right? If there is no mention of the voiceover in the brief, do creators should they still record the voiceover in every video in Up to the Creator section?
If I didn't require any voiceover, like literally put in the brief details, the only requirement is to have a voiceover, then obviously the Up to the Creator one will require a voiceover. If there's no mention of voiceover, or this is a bit tricky, yes, indeed. Because
most brands will put in their key points. So for me, if they don't say voiceover, however, if they don't mention that, but they put key points or like key talking bits or whatever, like obviously that means it. But a lot of brands will put key benefits. I personally think, don't know if you agree, Nicola, that means talk about those key points, because I have seen a few creators got that information and they're muted videos with nothing. I'm like, I personally feel like that the brand was expecting.
Yeah,
it's probably what my mindset is.
I agree. So to kind of sum up the voiceover on Up to the Creator videos, I think we all agree that the only time when you don't have to record a voiceover is when it's either mentioned in the brief that please don't worry about the sound. The second option is when brands just, don't mention voiceover at all and there's no talking points. And the third one is obviously when there is just key scenes in there, right? So if we have any sort of information about talking points or, you know, what the brand needs to be showcased that you realistically cannot showcase in just the video footage, just record that voiceover, make your life easier, make everyone's life easier, basically. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I would. And to add on to that too, I would say if you're not sure and it's one of those in between ones that you're like, oh, I don't know if they do or not, message. That's the best thing. Which you can message, confirm, communicate. You can never over communicate. I personally believe it's better known black and white.
Yeah,
definitely.
100% agree. Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Well, I'm glad we clarified this. That's
the first thing. Next one.
All right, this was easy. I mean, no, I think this was one of the trickiest, to be honest.
It's tricky, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we pretty much clarified what the up to the creator means and what to expect from both sides as a brand, as a creator. And let's talk about testimonial, I guess. I think this is a good option if you want to use the video in paid ads. I think testimonials work. Mm-hmm. Obviously, a testimonial means that the user is going to talk about their experience with the product, how they found the product, how they would recommend it. They will talk about unique selling points here because that's the main focus as well. But in general, I think it's more about
their experience.
Their experience, exactly. And in terms of the footage, I guess this is up to the creator again, because it's not like something that, I mean, again, this can be a bit tricky, and if brands really want something specific, I've seen some campaigns, for example, with testimonials and brands wanting the creator to just talk in front of the camera. That's it.
Yeah, I've seen them too.
A discussion here is like, there are certain types of testimonials that you can do as well, right? Ali, like what do you think? Because it's obviously not just testimonial and they're all the same. What do you think?
I think so. Like testimonial, as Maria said, that there is like two types, because I've seen brands that want literally someone's voice in their face and then they'll do the editing in-house to like put all their bits that they want on top. The other type though is obviously like your like getting ready with me kind of style of like, I've been using this and this is my thoughts on it. I personally think, I don't know if you agree, when it comes to for brands as testimonial, I think they should have more of a script in there in terms of like, if obviously they want key talking points to be put there, but also to be thinking about like, if you're a brand, go onto your website, what's some reviews that you really love that you'd like people to see? And like, let's be honest too, not all the time do those like infographic reviews work anymore. Think, okay, what's a smart way of getting that across? UGC. So for the likes of that, I'd be like, get a good review that you have. There's your actor, UGC creator. Get them to say it, and then they do their own thing, and it's like a way better way of coming across. But that would be my two off the top of my head. But what do you think? If there's any, I'm trying to think if there's any other bits of mess there.
I think the first thing that the creator should think about when they see in their campaigns a testimonial campaign is that you most likely would have to speak to the camera, right?
Oh, definitely.
So this is the first point that you have to remember if you are about to apply for the campaign, because otherwise you're just up for a stressful ride otherwise. So just keep it in mind, because some of the brands would still be happy with voiceover for testimonial, but I feel like it's the safest bet is to keep it in your head that you're going to be speaking to the camera. So if you feel comfortable to do this, so I would say that personally, testimonial campaigns are probably the ones I would stay away from at the very beginning of my UGC journey, right? So I would probably be prepared that this is like a step up. So I would probably start with like apps to create, unboxing is so nice and stuff like that. But other than that, I feel like with the testimonial, just keep in mind that you'll speak to the camera. But please don't forget about like B-roll shots, little green screen here and there. Make it engaging, make it dynamic. Because if I agree with Maria, if a brand, obviously, this is what they want you to just speak to the camera for 60 seconds about the product. I believe that then, Ali, as you said, script is very important because you can easily go off the rails a little bit when you just speak to the camera.
I think especially when it's a testimonial too. Other types of ones, like it's a bit more freer, like your unboxing, you're up to your creator ones. But I think when it's a testimonial, that's when it's most important that the creator knows exactly the key points they need to get across. Otherwise, it's kind of a wasted ad, because what's the point of it being a testimonial? It's just a typical UGC. Do you know what I mean? That it is different.
And also, if you do a testimonial that is just you speaking to the camera, Also, don't forget about editing. It's still important that you remove all your little spaces, all your little
pauses.
you know, it's just little things that make you a UGC creator. You know, you're not just talking about something. This what makes you a UGC creator, that you actually provide still a finished product, unless obviously asked differently by the brand.
Just the point when you're saying there too about editing, like this is I think one of the things I'll always be like giving feedback to people on, and it's not even a big deal, but it does make a big difference when it comes to like user retention and editing, and knowing like really good creators compared to ones that like aren't fully there yet. It's the big. So today I went to the market and I bought then I went and done that, like the big in out, like that. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's a couple of milliseconds wasted that a person will just flick off. It's like, have your sentences. Now you can go overboard. I don't recommend over putting your sentences together, because some people run one into the direct other, and that sounds chaotic and it's hectic. But like, get rid of those breaths, have it a wee bit more natural, that there's a slight but barely noticeable, that it just flows, that you don't lose attention.
But I guess also that just comes with experience as well, isn't it? Like how those spaces should be. It's at one point it's going to be easier. So also on top of that, there's one more thing that I'm actually interested to see if you guys will like pick up on, and that's my ick when I am watching testimonial videos sometimes. Okay. Hi guys. So I just started using this Attrements Document Ink Black, and I can't wait to tell you all about it.
But know nothing about
you don't know the name.
The name.
The name.
Please remember the name. Stare at the bottle, and you know it's like
you see it, and they're like, "What is this? Okay, I've had it for 5 minutes. Let's make it really obvious."
And then sometimes you would actually be like, as well.
Oh, it's actually called that.
Is
second.
It? So what this will show you to your potential audience is that this is the first time you laid your eyes on the product. You don't want that. You want, your audience to believe that you know this product by heart and you used it so much, because it is a testimonial, right? So we're going to mention it in the different types of videos, that it might not be as crucial, but testimonial means that you've used this product religiously and you basically
know it.
You swear by it, or you just share your genuine experience. So this would be my kind of little, please don't.
Yeah, I think that comes back to too, like, it's authenticity. You need to like get into your mindset of like, if you were actually chatting to friends, how would you talk to them about it? Because then that's so much more believable than like, hi guys, I'm trying to sell this to you and I don't even have a clue what it is, kind of vibe. But I think
but also
I think that's oh no, go ahead.
So I just think also another thing from the brand's perspective to keep in mind as well, because we obviously mentioned the script for testimonials, that they're useful, but please allow the creator a little bit more freedom in terms of how they would actually present that script. Because if you will go, bestie, you have to try this out, I love it so much, I probably would never say the word bestie out loud. Trust me when I tell you, this will not look cute.
Yeah, and also too, you can visibly tell in someone's face when it's not their words how uncomfortable they look. Even when they're like, "Hi, best," like you know, that's not something I'd ever say. So if I was like, "Hi, bestie," how are you doing? Like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?"
Like, you're not my bestie.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Why are you being so fake?" But like, you can, and like this thing too for brands and creators, like, don't pretend to be someone's best friend. If people straight away nowadays like pick out that like fakeness. So like try to keep it as authentic as possible, so then people won't be able to be like, fake, that's UGC, that's lies.
Yeah. I don't mind like a cheeky joke every now and then, or like to make the script a little bit funny or clever. But again, trust your UGC creators that they will hopefully come up with that themselves. Mm-hmm. Or, again, just this room to breathe a little bit, because it sometimes takes probably an hour extra to create a video when you have a very strict script, because first of all, you're probably recording yourself speaking the same kind of sentence 20 times. So realistically, this is just something to remember from the brand's perspective, is that testimonial from my side is probably the hardest type of video that you can ask a creator to do. So just have a little bit more grace.
Yeah, I think for brands as well, one thing out of this is feel free, put in your own script, put in like scenes if you have an idea in your head and you just don't want someone to create that, that's no problem. but I would advise just putting on to the end, like, if you want to make this your own, feel free. I'm putting in too, if you want to just protect yourself, like, if you want to tweak this, feel free to send to us for final approval. If they're like really being strict about it, just let them know. If you're changing up a bit, send it to them so then they can approve that. Be like, okay, it's fine. Because then it'll like definitely make it win-win for both parties, that they're like, okay, we'll get something we love and the creator actually knows this isn't going to feel icky and weird when they're actually doing it. But I think that's that one summed up. What is our next one then, Maria?
Our next on our list is unboxing. I think
I love them.
I love them too. I honestly love seeing them. I use them in our ads a lot. You've probably seen them because they're very like snappy and they're just like do everything like happening, and it's just super eye catching, and that's why I love them as well. But yeah, just to sum up what it means, basically unboxing means that the creator will like presenting the product out of the box in like different angles and stuff like that. Now that's the idea behind the main idea, right? Then we have a conversation here as well around, should we put a voiceover or should we just leave it like that? And then again, brands should mention this because unboxing can be such a great way to use it for your own voiceovers as the brand, right? They'll put their own voiceovers or they'll put just the captions and the sound, because we also do that as well. I think either way it's a great option for a video. Of course, if your product is something that can be unboxed, I think I would see it mostly as not necessarily a voiceover, just because you want to show the product out of the box and blah blah blah. But again, if you have talking points in there, that means there should be a voiceover. And then if there's unique selling points that you want to mention while unboxing the product, again, there's a voiceover. So I think for all these types of videos, it is quite obvious. For the testimonial, you would know from the beginning that's going to be a talking thing all over again. But for the rest of them, I think we can always discuss this like option of like having the voiceover or not having the voiceover. If you're a brand, please mention this so that there's no misunderstandings along the way and you get whatever you're looking for in terms of the video. But that's the unboxing from my point of view. So yeah, would love to hear your thoughts.
My take on it would be unboxing is voiceover optional. Once again, like you said, if the brand wants it, that. But my question to you guys would be face to camera, because for me, I would think unboxing, you don't really need your face in it as much because it's focused on the product itself. However, I will always say every video should have a face in it at some point because it's emotion. You need to have that. But what would your thoughts be on that? Like, would you say last face, or what do you think?
So with unboxing, the little trick that I like to do to introduce that kind of emotion and stuff is to simply pick up that package from your doorstep yourself, right? The first scene, boom. You got it sorted, you are there, and then you just create the most beautiful aesthetic video you can. Because this is the main key for me, is when I hear unboxing, I hear aesthetic. So this needs to be beautiful. You need to have a nice background. You need to have, if you have like any backdrops or any little props that you can use. So you making this, the lighting is very important. You're making this as pretty as possible, basically, because otherwise anyone, like when you're a creator, you have to put yourself in the mind of someone who's watching it. You want this to be aspirational. You want them to want that feeling when you unbox it, because unboxing is very much like playing on that emotion from your audience, right? Because they aspire to have the same feeling that you have, that you're showcasing when you open that box. It's not about the box. It's not about the product inside. It's about kind of getting that emotion, the emotion from someone. So it needs to be beautiful. It needs to be pretty. Mostly unboxing is going to work for women audiences in general, because this is unfortunately how our brains work. We see something pretty, we're like, oh, shiny. Yes, I like that. Right. But yeah, so when you're creating an unboxing, this is your opportunity to create the most aesthetic video possible, which is why a voiceover is optional, because sometimes it would make sense, because you can as Maria said, you can have so many different voiceovers over the unboxing, right? Because you could have multiple products in there. So you could introduce the brand, or you could just focus on a specific product. The one thing that
or trend of music.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. When you do unboxing, to also not forget about all the B-roll footage, placing the product in its environment, in its natural habitat. It's very important to, again, play on that emotion, like, so the audience can imagine themselves doing your thing, like what you're doing with your hands basically in this video. So I feel like that would be very important. So it's not as much about your experience with the brand, it's more introducing the brand or introducing the product, and that raw emotion, that you're so excited to try it. Or sometimes unboxing would mean that, the last couple of seconds is like, yeah, I've been using it for 2 weeks now and I'm very happy. Boom. So you kind of zip it with like your experience at the end sometimes. But mostly, as I said, it's about the aesthetic, it's about the emotion, and just to make it look pretty.
I think it's like, for me, when I think unboxing too, it's romanticizing. So like you were saying there, it's like how it fits in the house and all. And also too, I think unboxing videos, I know you guys understand the potential, but it's very underrated, I think, for brands, because not a lot of the time will they always do that. Whereas I think like there's such a big, ridiculously funny though, such a big like TikTok even movement of like unpack my Chinese order with me, unpack my groceries. Like people love just saying like, oh, what is it? And
it's
like,
satisfying.
welcome. It's satisfying. It's like nearly a different wave of like ASMR. It's like taking things out, like playing the package and all that. And like brands invest a lot in their packaging and the look of things, that I think for brands that haven't really realized the potential of unboxing videos, it's really good. And plus too, it really nicely doubles up as like effective ad usage and organic, because it doesn't come across as adsy, as like a testimonial could, or like, do you know what I mean? It's a lot more natural. That 100%. I think if you're wanting a win-win, what can I use that I can use organically and as an ad that I can build upon for an ad? Boom, do an unboxing one.
Also, if you don't believe us that it works both organically as an ad, just go on TikTok, go to the search box and just place unboxing in there. You will see how much engagement these videos create. There's literally communities built on like ASMR unboxing and stuff, which also brings us to the point that it's not necessary to have a voiceover, because maybe you want an ASMR unboxing, which you also should always mention in the brief, because this is a very different setup. It's a very different mindset that you have to get into. Yeah.
It is so true that it looks more organic to have this as an ad, and satisfying and aesthetically pleasing and so on. So the majority would go for up to the creator, just because they don't know exactly what they want, or they would just go for the testimonial just because that's what obviously they know from advertising. Okay, testimonial, this is something that clearly works, and people will be like, okay, it's a testimonial, it's a review of the product, and a real person is talking about it. But I think it's underestimated, as you said, and I think we should encourage brands to do this more, and then try it in their ads for sure. We would have loved to do this for Clip. That's why I was saying that if it's a product can be unboxed, because there's so many services out there that you can't do unboxing, unfortunately. But I would have, if I were to have a physical product, I would have loved to do an unboxing. Also, another point here would be, so there's a little bit of a risk with unboxing in terms of the creator spending too much time on the first shot of first, second shot, whatever, the box, exactly. Like, cutting the thing and opening it and like taking, like, I think this should be super quick. Like, don't spend too much time on that, because like nobody's going to, stay for longer.
Nobody's
like,
gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. Yeah.
Unless it's like the most gorgeous packaging you've ever seen in your life. Then give it a little spotlight.
Yeah, for sure. But if it's just a normal plain like box, it isn't important to have this curiosity element of like, okay, I have a box, you don't know what it is in it, so stay with me to see what is in. But yeah, hook them somehow, but don't spend too much time, because I've seen a lot of product videos from process of approving the creators where they're spending so much time on the actual box, and I was just like, I'm so bored now. I'm so sorry. Yeah, So I think this is quite crucial when we're talking about unboxings. Unless, as you said, Nikola, it is a very pretty box that needs to give some TLC. Yeah,
because that is a KPI for them, right? This is their special quality of their service is that it is so beautifully packed and as a gift, then definitely use that.
On that point as well, I've always had the belief in my head, it's like the first 3 to 5 seconds of your video is the most important. And like, even in those first like 5 seconds, I personally think anyway, you need to have shown the product. So even if you're like cutting and doing stuff, or to hook the people in, you need to like have a couple of different scenes potentially in that too, to really bring them in. Like, what is the unboxing? Because what is it now? Like, the average watch time is 3 seconds. If you don't initially hook them, you will swipe on. And obviously, Maria, you're probably watching longer than what you would have in real life when you're like approving creators, because you're like, I want to see what they're like. Whereas if you were genuinely in TikTok or Instagram, you're like, boring, swipe. Like, we've all got such low attention spans now that we're like, if it's not like bright and glittery and like exciting, then you're like, oh, right, whatever, go on.
Yep. Yeah, next one. Yep.
Especially when it is the brand awareness phase as well. So that's when, you know, your audience hears about you for the very first time. They might as well not give a damn about it. Yeah. So you need to make sure that they do somehow subconsciously, your name stays with them when they're further down the funnel of your ad strategy.
Last one, how to. This one is a bit more specific, I guess, even though any kind of brand can use it, of course. But this one works really well for services, mainly for apps that people like need to understand how they work before they try it or before they buy it. You just pretty much explain how the product works. You can throw in some features of the product, of course, in there, but it's more about, you know, a very deep understanding of
exploration of what the product.
Exploration, exactly. Yeah. It can be a physical product, of course. Like it's not that. It's just, it needs to be apps and services. But I think these two are really, they go really well with it. But also as well, it can also go for products that are a bit innovative and people don't really know how they
don't understand.
work. They don't understand, and it's more about, it can also be an educational like vibe as well into it. It's literally how to, I don't know how to explain it more.
Yeah. It's like a great content type for clients without a physical product. However, and this goes both to creators and to brands as well, is that let's not forget that your skincare routines, your cooking recipes, they're all how to as well. That you're explaining how you use the product in your daily routine. So I feel like my favorite kind of type of videos sometimes to record is like a unboxing / how-to variation, you know, when you're kind of mixing those two styles, when you are showcasing your emotion, but then you also show how you use the product in your routine.
Action, yeah.
But also when it comes to the not physical products, so like services or, you know, whatever it might be that's like a digital product, green screen tool is phenomenal for this type of content here.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Experiment with that and find your own like personality through that green screen, because it really has, you know, made a big impact on the ads and how they are perceived in general. And I remember a couple of years ago, it was like, wait, how did they do that? And it is so easy to actually do an overlay.
I was going to say, that's a big point for people too, because people have came in the past, they're like, how do you actually do that? So simply for a green screen, literally, a lot of people I see too will do it on TikTok, save it down, and then import it to CapCut.
Not worth it.
Quality. Don't do that. And it's extra steps. All you need to do is film yourself, send your talking piece, if it's going to be a green screen with you talking, or if you're just going to be like swiping and scrolling and looking up, film that clip. Then actually have your screen recording of the website, add in your screen recording, then add in your actual video of you talking or scrolling, whatever. Click remove background, and it's much better quality. Also, you can highlight the background to give it that bit more of a pop, or not the background yourself, to give it that bit more of a pop too. And that's it done. It's so easy to do and so effective. And I personally believe it is like a compulsory thing that you should have in videos if they're services. Like, it's a way to change it up, especially if you don't have a product and you're trying to show the website and you're trying to make it a wee bit more interesting. You need to have a green screen of some sort, especially for how to like talk through customers, how easy it is to use. All you have to do is click on this and do that, and it like so much more like engaging for people as well.
When you are recording a video that you know is going to be for green screen, make sure that your background is as plain as possible as well. Plain. That you don't really speak with your hands then, because your fingers will be disappearing. Your fingers would look like
So
don't do that. Or like
if you're scrolling, do it in the inside. Like never be like swiping that way because it'll get caught. Like do it a little bit more than it's your body's that way.
Yeah. Also, you can manipulate the size of you and the placement of you. So whatever the screen tells you, just go with it, and it's gonna look fine. Just limit your movements that are not necessary. Obviously, if you're like pointing, that's great. Or like, as you said, when you're scrolling or showing your emotion, but just kind of keep your hands down a little bit. Another thing is when you speak about a product and a physical product and you show the website behind you, you don't need to hold it when you
don't.
It's a little bit of like a push.
To me, it's then like a QVC ad that you're like, buy this now, or like the people down at the bottom, like, I'm like, no.
You're already having it on your screen behind you, so you don't. Yeah, that's enough. So I think, but it's such a great tool. I absolutely love green screen, but it does take experience because you still need to talk to the camera. So that's another thing that's kind of like that from that testimonial, world. Because how to definitely has a lot to do with testimonial because you're still showing how you do it, what is your kind of experience with the product, and you just explained the instructions. But there are so many different smaller varieties and types of, how to. Because as we said, we could be anything from skincare to SEO tool. It could literally be anything as long as you explain it well in that video and you showcase the right. Also, okay, one more point. Ali, what do you think? How important it is to choose the right background for your green screen?
Oh yeah, well, as in like it needs to be plain.
No. Sorry, the actual website that you're showing.
Oh, like I feel like you need to have the So for this here, depending what the product or service is, once again, this is actually a good point. I could be off tangent a bit. I always say it's good for a brand if they want to send you, if they're wanting green screen too, because sometimes if it's not in like launch phase and stuff yet, but I think you need to do the full walkthrough, but you need to be careful as well that you're not blocking the key product or the key information. So like make yourself smaller, move yourself to the side and have it in that way as well. But what do you think?
I agree with everything what you just said. But I think sometimes creators get a little bit confused correlating what they're saying with what the website is actually showing.
Match it up.
So I feel like this is crucial when doing the green screen, is that when you speak about reviews, you're showing the reviews. When you're speaking about how to navigate the website, you're scrolling down and showing the website. It's very easy to lose yourself to like what is the right clip for it.
Yeah.
Essentially, if that makes sense.
I'd even take that one step further and say like not even do websites, anything. I always say to people, whatever you're talking about in your script, your video, B-roll, whatever it is, needs to line up. If you're talking about, it tastes so good, like you're drinking it, you're smiling. If you're like saying like it's made my hair feel like this, show your hair. I think that's like the number one thing that makes videos look like they don't flow or they're like choppy, is when like they're talking about one thing but showing something completely different. And also too, it makes your life so much easier when you're editing or planning or filming. Have your script line up to your scenes. And also too, while not always necessary, I do think it adds a level of professionalism. If you're finishing a sentence, start the next sentence on a different scene so it flows nicely into the different things, rather than like you're talking about this, it runs on to that, but you're still showing the last thing. Like have those cuts nice and flowing.
Yeah, this is what kind of brings us, if you're interested about that a little bit more, go a couple episodes back when we kind of discussed our strategies, like how we record our videos, because because it could be that you're first recording your voiceover and then you're lining up the footage, or the other way around. But as Ali said, it is to make your video look beautiful and flowy. Make sure that audio finishes with a scene. When you're watching a movie, you probably won't have a dialogue running into like a new scene because it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And it's the same. It's as simple as that. Our brain is like programmed to be like, well, something's not right here. I don't like this. And you lose the focus because it takes away from the product.
With the green screen, I think, that's a big element nowadays. Way it is easy, but if you don't have the experience to actually put it together, it might look like,
I'd also say for a tip for creators too, because for feedback I've given back at times, if you're using, doesn't even have to be if it's a green screen, but if you're ever using overlays, double check your overlay matches your actual main track as well, because so many times there's a millisecond of that overlay finishes a bit too quick and it just glitches for a millisecond. And if you're not realizing and you're not being really thorough with your editing, you'll see it or you'll miss it, and then you upload it in a brand, and if they miss it too, it looks really unprofessional. So always make sure, especially for green screen, because there's nothing worse than that wee glitch of the person disappears into the website in the background. You're like, where'd you go? But the same if you're using B-roll in general, for like if you're talking and then it goes away and it's just you talking and there's no context, always have them lined.
Yeah, it is tricky to get there, but once you get those little tiny bits, it's like in your mental little checklist, isn't it? You just you know what needs to be checked, what needs to be aligned.
Everyone needs to go to their CapCut profile and turn off that outro, because so many videos will have that. I'm like, guys, turn it off.
When you don't remove that little CapCut clip at the end, what you're showing really is that you don't pay attention to the details. Like, how is the brand supposed to trust you with the content you created if you haven't even watched it yourself from the beginning to the end?
Yeah,
you haven't done it. So
valid point.
I will always say though, everyone can make a mistake. That's fine, but like it is like it's like interview. Like your first, what people see first, like they will judge you on. So it is those attention to detail, like minor things that you think, oh, it's not that big a deal, or even two. So many people I will say. They'll not mean to, but it's just that attention to detail. If you are adding a song in, cut your song at the end of your video, because there's quite a few videos I see.
Yeah, 4 minutes long.
It's a 13-second video or 30-second video. It goes on for a minute, and I'm like, too long, and then I'm sitting like going for like what's. But they'll even have voiceover segments too, like later on. So if you add a voiceover, the track it adds. I'm like, make sure you've always leave the voiceover extras, the music extras, any layover extras. Double check. We
definitely 100% need an episode on this. 100% on like editing checklist, or like the checklist of what we do right before we submit the content, because there are key bits that you do every time, or you should be doing every time. But yeah, as you said, as a UGC creator, we obviously now have this platform that we can learn from each other as well. But if you are a little bit in your head, just make sure that you learn from your mistakes, but also mistakes of other creators as well. So go and like, if you spend like an hour a week on research, just watching other UGC creators creating content, just do it. See what you like about them. See what little tricks and, things you can take from there, but also what you probably shouldn't. So just learn and grow. And also another exercise that would be really good is if you do watch random UGC videos, think about what category you would put them in. Is it unboxing? Is it how to? Because that's going to show you what those videos need, or what they have, what makes them that specific video. So I feel like if someone has, that desire to do it an hour a week when you just kind of test yourself and see what you've got. And if you have any kind of thoughts about it or insights, let us know so we can share on the podcast as well, because I feel like as many as creators there are, as many insights there will be. So it will be very interesting to see what you've got to say.
I actually have a question to close this subject. What is your favorite type of video to make? Obviously,
I kind of already said that somewhere in between. My favorite one would be unboxing / how to. That would be my favorite. I just love doing them. I feel like I can really showcase my skills, but this would be with the voiceover or testimonial style as well in there. So that would be mine. That is just a mixture, but I do love an aesthetic unboxing as well. There's like 15 seconds. Oh my god, love it. Beautiful.
I would say mine is like a mixture between, to be honest, testimonial and like how to. Like I enjoy like trying to get into that mindset of like, okay, what would make people like this, or what's the problem, kind of like how. But I will agree with you too that like I'm leaning towards as well saying up to creator, but I feel like up creator is like a cop out if I say that, because technically it's a mixture of them all. But I always do like the styles that it's like kind of like saying how this product helped me, this and that and all, and then showing those B-rolls of how to and like how this can happen for you too, kind of thing. But that's a tricky question, I won't lie. It's very product specific too, I think. But no, good question.
Sometimes I think when you look at the brief without looking at what the content type is, that is quite fun to do, because you're like, what would be the best video for that brief? Do you know what I mean? Like when you read the brief without looking at the content type, I feel like it's quite interesting, because then you kind of can imagine yourself doing it. And I feel like once you do that, then you'll know what's your favorite content type.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that is actually a valid point, and it makes it even more authentic. Would you prefer not to have this type of video in your briefs? The type of video would be completely out.
Tricky.
I do like having it because it forces a brand, I think, to think a wee bit more about exactly the kind of look that they're after. But in saying that, sometimes, I won't lie, their type of video is very different from their script that I wouldn't even realize, oh, they wanted that as an unboxing. Like a testimonial is quite easy to like judge. You're like, oh, fair enough. But I won't lie, in that one, I like more information. Is the more information I have that's
and like
concise,
well organized
better.
information. Yeah.
Yes.
Organized information. Sometimes, I don't know, Ali, would you agree that sometimes you don't even know what type of content you're making?
Yeah. Sometimes you're just like, yeah. No.
Guilty.
But like, but to be brutally honest, like another, like if you're working like with brands and stuff too, and like they'll not specifically say they want like, or else they'll add different ones into the mix that they'll be like, I want a talking head, or they'll be like, I want something just really, really organic that technically like we don't like. So there's like, why they have a certain amount in the clip, which keeps it nice and concise, which I personally like, because outside of that, there's so many that you're like, okay, what does that mean?
As always, if you have any questions, or if you want to just share your thoughts on, what's your favorite type of video, or if you're still not sure what to use as a brand for your product, just let us know. Email, social media, YouTube, pretty much everywhere, or just say hello. We'll see you on our next episode.
Bye.